Hi, everybody. Welcome to Katie in the Morning. I'm Katie Page, Director of Member Relations at the National Association of Healthcare Assistants. CNA Fest is now over, 2018, sad face, and we are getting pumped up for 2019, but I wanted to take the next few days to kind of highlight some of the stuff that went on at CNA Fest 2018 for those of you that weren't able to join us this year. It was an epic event. It was just a mashup of networking and excitement and memories that will last a lifetime. So here are just a few of the pictures of the outdoor activities, the education sessions, the Key to Quality Awards red carpet event, random pictures in the hallways. You can see Mount Vernon. I'm sorry, that's Cameron right there in the picture. It was just a phenomenal event. There were so many CNAs there that were so excited to be there. 85% of our attendance this year was first-time attendees, which is a phenomenal number. It means that NACA, the word of NACA, is spreading. New CNAs are getting to experience the empowerment and the recognition and just the energy that NACA gives off on the CNA Fest. It was an unbelievable event, and it was really an honor just to be there in person and meet so many amazing, professional, energetic CNAs. So that were just a little bit of the memories that will last a lifetime. One of the things I did want to point out before we kind of move on to the other slide is the biggest thing about CNA Fest and getting more people there is spreading the word, spreading your experience, sharing those memories that you have going home from CNA Fest to other people who either couldn't make it to CNA Fest or had no idea that there is an association out there for us. So by word of mouth, social media is a huge tool. Just get that word out there to as many CNAs as we possibly can. They don't know there's an association for them until somebody tells them or until they stumble across it on Google or are searching for education on the net in general. That's when NACA truly pops up. So the second thing that I wanted to talk about today is the networking that goes on at CNA Fest is literally second to none. You can see some pictures from like the bonfire, the sitting outside, the event center. This is actually the Rose Garden, I believe, is in this picture. That's kind of like the designated smoking area. But even after the sessions, we had CNAs sitting out there talking to each other, working out problems, sharing experiences till there was one night, Samantha Maddox, Heidi Nelson, and I were up till 6:05 in the morning talking to CNAs that had troubles in their centers that they didn't know how to work out or bringing suggestions to us to spread for education for CNA Fest 2019. One of them in particular was how to bring suggestions to your supervisors, how to kind of get them on board to sending CNAs to CNA Fest 2019. Another one was behavioral management and identifying those kind of traits that fall into there, how to identify when a situation is escalating and how to kind of intervene, redirect, and kind of take down the problems that are developing in a center, especially with behavioral patients, those who obviously, I'm going into different segments here, so we'll get back to CNA Fest in just a second. One of the big issues we're seeing right now is cutting back on narcotics and antipsychotic medications. So a lot of those behaviors are popping up there. So I literally spent 2.5 hours after the bonfire talking to a group of CNAs about the problems at their centers and giving my advice and my experience as a CNA for 16 years, kind of what we did in those scenarios and suggestions on what they could take back to their manager, their director of nursing, their administrator, as like a problem-solving tool. So back to the networking, we also had CNAs there. We'll take Geraldine Mackey and Raymond Beavers, for instance, from Iowa. Did a lot of their own fundraising to get here. They bus tables at Pizza Hut, or Pizza Ranch, I'm sorry, sold baskets, raffle tickets, all sorts of stuff to get to CNA Fest. So if your facility isn't sponsoring you in 2019 and you really want to go, I would highly suggest getting a hold of one of our ambassadors because they are a limitless pot of information and suggestions. There are just so many CNAs out there that are willing and able to get out there and spread the word of NACA. The third thing I wanted to bring up about CNA Fest, besides the networking, is the education. This is a big piece of CNA Fest. These are just a few presenters that were there this year, but Corinne did an amazing job presenting her story, and which really CNA Fest was about this year, is charting our own future and sharing that story. Meg Laporte, who's not pictured here, did an awesome segment about writing your story, getting that message out there to people. Kathleen Pagels is there as well. She talked about managed care. kind of how it plays into like the rugs and that sort of thing. Documenting plays a big part in that. Kind of broke down what it takes and the amount of money that it takes to take care of a resident on a daily basis versus the amount that the state reimburses us for. So it just kind of put things into perspective about the things that we have to tackle objectively as CNAs on a daily basis. And then, of course, Miss Lisa Sweet is pictured there, and she gave a wonderful segment on CNA heroes. And she brought up a very valid point right at the beginning of her education session, that we idolize all of these public figures. I believe Dale Earnhardt Sr. was one of them that she put up there. And we remember those names and remember them because of their media exposure. But the 4 pictures she put up of the CNAs, nobody could really know who they are or say their names because they're not publicized the way that media figures are. And we as CNAs and as a group of individuals kind of coming together for the same message and the same passion need to take responsibility for that. At one point, Lori had asked during CNA Fest, what are some things that you would like to see change in regards to the CNA profession? And I tried to get a hold of Mike, but they tried to limit my mic time while I was there for apparent reasons. I get a little carried away sometimes. What I wanted to say was there are so many CNAs that are put in the media with horrible, horrible stories, residents being raped, drugs being stolen, resident elopement, nobody found them for 12 hours, being burned by the sun, eaten alive by scabies. But that is like one bad CNA compared to 1,000 great ones. So in order for us to kind of switch that stigma, we have to tell our stories, put it out there, let people know the great things that we're doing, not just at work, but outside of the community as well. Put that positive image forward, recruit more people into our profession so that 10 years from now, we're going to have enough CNAs to take care of the disabled and frail and elderly people that are coming into our care. So that was the second thing that I wanted to, or the third thing rather, that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about CNA Fest 2018.
Join us as we honor CNAs with your host, Lisa Sweet. CNA Heroes, Friday at 7 p.m. Central, only on CNA TV. From the Heart, a weekly segment with John Willard, airs every Tuesday at 2:30 Central Time on CNA TV.
Welcome back to Katie in the Morning. Today we're talking about kind of our reflection on CNA Fest 2018. One of the biggest pieces of CNA Fest this year was the red carpet event. The recognition that NACA brings to CNAs from all across the nation is phenomenal. We had the Walk of Stars. You could see Celeste Billups is right there with me on the red carpet. Dane, Sheena, and Drake in their fabulous attire. And of course, Lori at the Key to Quality Awards opening up for the awards ceremony. There was 20 different categories this year for awards that were given out nationally. I did want to give a shout out to Sammy Lemons Fowler from Arizona. She did take home the Assisted Living Caregiver of the Year award this year, and Geraldine Mackey took home the CNA of the Year award. Those are just a glimpse of what goes on at the Key to Quality Awards ceremony. The red carpet was phenomenal. I thought it was a joy to interview different CNAs as they were coming through looking absolutely stunning. They're representing not just their facility, but their state as well. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but there's actually 21 states represented from across the nation, plus the Bahamas this year. That is an amazing number. We look for it to grow next year. I believe Texas is talking big numbers next year. Indiana's talking big numbers next year. Oklahoma, of course, always represents. And then Missouri was right there too. Arizona sent a bunch of people. New Mexico was there in some pretty outstanding numbers. We did have 2 individual members that joined us this year on their own, and they were the only ones there from their states. One was Deborah Garrett. She flew in from, I believe it was Colorado. Don't quote me on that. And Deborah, please come on down and slap me a good one if I'm wrong. And then Celeste Billups from Virginia. Both of them came on their own, flew in. I mean, they were phenomenal. I could see both of them taking notes during the sessions, offering ideas up, enjoying the entire experience. Actually, I got to join Deborah on the zip line when we went up there to do it and stuck my neck out and almost died, I thought, but apparently it wasn't that dramatic. So those are just some of the tools, some of the recognition, some of the phenomenon of CNA Fest 2018. And then the last one that I wanted to talk to you guys about was the fun, and more fun. You could see we had the fire alarm go off while we were there, so everybody had to head out front. Dane and I were in the back trying to get people off the lake, off the canoes to get out to the safe zone. We had water balloon volleyball going on across the lake. The team workathon you can see there. Actually, Vicky, I have to give her a shout out. She's right there in the purple with the bandana. You can see the girls from Texas there that were, I mean, they were engaged. They were moving, loving it. The water balloon volleyball, at one point towards the end of the night, we had 4 teams on there and 2 water balloons going at the same time. People were laughing. Everybody got wet. It was an amazing experience. And then of course the canoeing, we had a couple capsizes there, but nobody got hurt. It was all in fun. There was board of directors, staff members, ambassadors out there making sure everybody was safe and okay. But next year, for those of you that are planning on going on the canoeing, one of us will be on shore as like a property type guard. So you're not bringing like your coach purses, your iPhones, anything like that on the lake, just in case something like this happens. We'll watch your stuff for you on shore side so that you can drop it off and then pick it back up when you come back in. Ambassadors were out there, board of directors were out there, staff members were out there, individual members were out there taking plenty of pictures. That way nobody kind of missed their fun experiences from CNA Fest. 2019 dates have been posted. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later on this week, but I thank you guys all for joining me, and I will see you right back here at 10 a.m. tomorrow for Katie in the Morning.